Welcome back, folks, to Bali Padel Academy. Pleasure to be with you for the final match of an amazing 3 or 4 days of competition. My name's David Maxwell. I'll be one of your commentators, joined by Matt Pickles.
That's right.
One of my favourite surnames. Pleasure to be with you here, Matt.
Wonderful to be here. Great to join you. Really excited to see this high level paddle match. High level local paddle match down here at the BPA Knox Stadium.
Indeed, but we will introduce the players. They will be the stars of the next 1 to 2 hours or more. Who knows? Who knows? What a match they have to follow. First and foremost, the ladies providing an incredible final. So yes, hopefully this is not 6-1, 6-1 done in 20 minutes. Hopefully it's just the same level of entertainment. Anyway, the players on the near side to you, on the left in white, the taller of the two, Edu Altamirez, and his partner in the light blue with the backwards cap, hitting a beautiful drop shot there. I don't know if you saw that on the screen. In the warm-up, Paul Alsina. They are both from Catalunya, Barcelona, in Spain, and they are both multiple champions in the Asian circuits, winning numerous APPT titles, lots of titles in Bali and elsewhere around the continent. They are number 2 seeds coming into the match, and they are up against the number 1 seeds on the far side, the left-handed player Marc and his partner Sergi Nogueras. Also from Catalunya, Barcelona, in Spain. They are also multiple APPT champions. They also won their first FIP title in Jakarta a few weeks ago. These players have met each other 5 times now in finals in Asia. It's Sergi and Marc who lead 3-2. Most recently last week in Lombok for the APPT Lombok Open. It was Marc and Sergi who came out on top there by 2-1 in what was another excellent clash between the pair. Matt, you've not seen these guys play quite as often, have you?
I've not.
No.
No.
What are you anticipating from what you've seen so far in this tournament?
I mean, speaking to guys who they've beaten, who are top level guys, you know, with Marc having a big left hand, Marc and Sergi having both forehands in the middle, that'll be a big difference in this game. Much harder for Edu and Paul to find a place to lob, to keep it safe and take the pressure off themselves. You know, very often in paddle we look for the lob onto that non-playing shoulder of the right side, so at least they hopefully can't put more pressure or can't smash it out. And unfortunately, Edu and Paul won't have that option today, with Marc being left-handed.
Indeed, Marc, an unbelievably talented player. He's got a backhand sculpted by God himself. But I mean, all 4 players here have got every shot in their repertoire. It's just who can be the most consistent, perhaps. One interesting feature is we will have outside play allowed in the match. The areas just outside both sides of the court have been cleared, and that does change things. They play a lot of finals where no outside play is allowed, which encourages Marc, Sergi and Edu all to go for portraits, and that's not quite as strong for Paul without the height and the power of the other 3. But being allowed outside play, that's where Paul comes alive more than the others. He's a little shorter, a little nimble, a little more fast on his feet, and he gets out the court to recover the ball more often than the others. So we might see a bit more parallel smashing because the portraits becomes a little bit of a riskier option. But they're confident boys. I'm sure they'll all be trying it regardless. So
absolutely, I can see that they've cleared the area, but it's not a huge area outside the cage. They have cleared this and moved people back, and the spectators are on the very back of their seats. I think after a couple of portraits, they'll realise why they've been moved back, and probably appreciate that.
Indeed. If you're in the splash zone, as we call it, the front row, much like when you go to SeaWorld or whatever, or I don't even know if SeaWorld still exists, but
The nosebleed section. It could literally be the nosebleed section today.
Indeed it could.
If these guys haven't got their wits about them on the front seats, these guys will be engrossed in the game and be going at it 100%.
For sure. Quite contrasting styles. We've got Edu and Sergi, very steady players. They're obviously capable of the extravagant and the audacious shots, but tend to play a much steadier game. Whereas Paul and Marc on the other diagonal, like a box of party tricks from both of them. Drop shots, big smashes, using the side glass, fancy flicks. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of style comes out on top today. But we resume the battle of Marc and Sergi v Paul and Edu. Final number 6 is about to get underway. Marc Berniel's the lefty to serve first. Paul Alsina to receive.
Just catching a last-minute tactic.
Indeed, a few stray people walking through the outer zone. Hopefully there's no crossing. And the first big smash comes. Edu's there. And I don't know what happened. Marc almost missighted by that one, or caught out, I'm not sure. But he will hope for better on the next smash. Love 15.
Yeah, there was quite a short smash on that one from Marc. By all accounts, unlike.
Good pick up. And that's a long lob from Paul. It's his favourite shot. Senor Alsina.
A bit of nerves at the beginning here.
Indeed, a bit of adrenaline pumping through.
Absolutely.
Just a bit too much juice on that one. Just wide from Marc. He looks almost unusually nervous to me. Over the last year or so, got to know him fairly well, and he's usually brimming with confidence, but a little hesitation from him so far. He'll just need one good shot to settle, and that'll be that one.
Nothing like a smash to bring it all the way back, to bring the confidence back up.
Perfect. Plenty of power, plenty of spin, sailing high over the head of the on-rushing Paul. 30 all, just long. It's a better lob. Marc's again going to take it on, and again he's going to clear them comfortably. And you see the difference there. The first smash and the first point was not his best, and one good one, and now he's flying.
Yeah, I mean that's nearly at the service line, and Marc with enough topspin to bring it way over the net, out of reach.
Lovely scoop from Marc, just lands in. Paul uses the side glass, and Marc's just reading it, perfectly positioned. Bahada coming, goes soft. Oh, and he tries to use the sidewall, but he missed it into the fence. And we've got our first golden point of the match in the first game. Edu signals straight away he will take it. Not always the case, yeah, but I think you just go with who you feel, unless you've got a set plan before things. And there's the game. They do hold. I know. It's already a good first game.
Fantastic.
I'm feeling a little bit apprehensive by these players walking. It's not players, these people, spectators, walking at the side whilst the point is happening. The photographer as well placed right in the danger zone if someone runs out mid-point. So hopefully everyone survives.
Yeah, it'll only take one before everybody gets a shift out of the way.
Yeah. Edu, as always, serves first for the Paul and Edu combo. I think only Paul. Big drive forward by Sergi. I love seeing him do that transitional drive volley straight to the body of the opponents. One of his trademark shots. Love 15. He's on the floor there, Sergi, once and twice. Phenomenal defense. Oh, Sergi! Oh, he was almost the star of the show.
When those pull off.
Oh, goodness me. It may seem outrageous, but he's done that hundreds of times before. When Edu now.
Just a little impatient.
Indeed, quite uncharacteristic from Mr. Altamirez. 30-15. And long from Marc. And the instinctive reaction volley, 40-15. I think that's just going long as well, 1-1.
Great pressure put from Paulazina. Down, making Marc on a 50-50 decision whether to take that before or after the cage, forcing that error. And that's Padel.
Oh, maybe it's not game. I thought it was 40-15 before. My apologies. And that's out of there. And that's 1-1. I was way too excited before. So.
Decisive from Edu. Altamirez. Out by 3 in style. Finishing that point to bring it level. And these guys really floating around the court with great footwork.
Marc goes for it. Does he get the kick? No. Paul's there to rescue, and he gets it down low and soft.
Yeah, that's one you've really got to put away, or you're giving your opponent such a positive position at the back of the net.
Yeah, Marc is full of belief in himself with that kick smash all the time. Didn't come off there. Disappointing return from Edu. Cheap point.
Sometimes if you've got a shot that you can put out 90% of the time, you got to go for it, and 10% it doesn't work.
You accept that. That's a good lob. He's going for it way behind the line, but into the net. He just doesn't. I don't know. He had a couple of goodies in the first game after a mistake, but just doesn't quite look himself under those.
Decent sized crowd here.
Yeah, maybe nerves.
Absolutely.
Nice angle from Marc. Good change. Libera from Edu's pacey. Sergi sends it long. 15-40 on the serve of Sergi Nogueras.
Great news for the boys from Bali.
Indeed, the Bali boys. We had the BPA boys yesterday or this morning with Alesh and Jorge. We've got the Bali boys now. With Paul and Edu, based out of the Amari club in Umalas. Sergi and Marc in Jakarta, Pro Padel. Paul could lob all day. Paul rescues, he's back in the court. Sergi and Edu covers. Does he judge it well? He does, it's perfect. And they swap back. Edu in his familiar position, plays a beauty. Paul again, lob. Will he go again, Marc? No. And the indecision, I think, there leads to the error. He knows that he has to get that kick smash perfect, or Paul's going to rescue it like he did in the point there.
Yeah,
I think that led to the bandeja, the vibora, whichever it was. I'm not sure it ended in the net. So.
Yeah, I think Marc feeling the pressure that he needs to maybe finish a little bit too much, and very often happens at the beginning of matches. People playing not quite as patient as they'd like to, and that one should have been sent It was a difficult ball. High ball from another high ball from Paul. He's playing some fantastic high lobs, making use of this beautiful high ceiling here in the Knox Stadium in BPA.
There are actually up a couple of birds with a great bird's eye view up there. Hey, so
absolutely. The drone is the drone's beeping away too. He's got a great view of that. But yeah, I think Marc, you know, the ball coming down with as much speed as it does, it makes it more difficult for Marc to get that timing. So crucial. But wonderful for the Bali coaches.
Indeed, an early break for them, and that puts them in pole position in the first set. The first break, and can they consolidate it now on the serve of Paul Alsina? He was the #1 ranked player in the APPT for over a year, basically saying he was the best player based in Asia, consistently playing tournaments in Asia. Last week overtaken by Sergi Nogueras, which I know Paul didn't love.
I bet.
He was very proud of being the #1. Something
Keep him
he
motivated,
really cared about, so that's probably an extra boost, yeah, for this match to prove I don't care what the rankings say. But a long way to go. It's just one break. Edu's going to smash this one, and he makes no mistake. Big smash. Edu Altamira is comfortably clearing. Too short on the lob from Marc. Strides back to his mark, shaking his head, not happy with himself.
Paul, a very vocal player.
Yes.
Lots of noise every time he hits the ball.
Shots. Great shot, Sergi. Applauded straight away by Edu. He's a tall man with a huge wingspan and huge reach, and he couldn't get near it. 15-0. Paul unleashes. Marc's there. Great reactions, Edu. Slows it down, and now he'll attack. Oh, that's a good change, really good change. Marc Bernil's there. He had so many options available, almost impossible for the Bali boys, as we're calling them now, to predict.
Absolutely. I mean, Marc hit that with a completely straight arm, giving Edu no idea where he was going to put that, and no time to react. Fantastic shot, great pressure.
15-30. First drop shot of the match from Paul. Marc reaches and stretches too far. You have to be alert from that when Paul Alsina's around. 30-0.
Yeah, beautiful hands. Really putting the pressure.
Marc, he loves that shot in the backhand, and usually he's so good at it, but he's just unexpected errors from him. Sneaking into the game. Just looking to find his rhythm, his confidence, his consistency. Game point 40-30. Sergi couldn't scoop it up enough, and it's into the net, and it's a hold of serve, so the break has been consolidated. 3-1, and a little gap for Paul and Edu. Marc Bernil's to serve for the second time. Good shot from Marc. That's basically bounced, hit the glass and rolled back along the ground. Good, Matt, hey?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And the bounce point, putting Paul to a decision 50-50. Does he take it before or after the glass? In that sweet spot. Really, really crisp volleys.
That's more like it. That's the Bernils we know. said that serve was out. Just in, is it, from Sergi? Yes. Edu look back hopefully to the glass, but all 4 players decided it was in straight away. A little hand of apology from Sergi. I think he was a little lucky. 30 love. Good shot, Sergi. Paul having almost no time to react, gives himself a telling off as he walks back to his mark. Don't do that again. Sergi's forehand is a no-go zone. And so is Marc's. As that sails long. Game secured. 3 games to 2 for Paul and Edu in the first set, still with a break. Matt, thoughts on the opening stages?
The level's obviously fantastic. These guys can't give each other any lobs that are, anywhere basically inside the service line with enough time for the player to get in position and hit that big top spin smash that gives them absolutely no chance to return it. As you said, all 3 players with a huge top spin smash, and Paul able to put the ball almost wherever he wants with the smash also. So it really changes the game. After the women's game we saw before this, which is feels far more mortal, far closer to us mere mortals when we play. These guys playing at a superhuman level.
And on that positive note, we'll go for a quick break as I feel worse and worse about myself as a paddle player. From Marc, wins the point. And it's a great start to the game for Marc and Sergi as they look to break back on the serve of Edu Altamirez.
Yeah, those fake smashes are so important when you've got such a big smash.
Spin, great footwork from Marc. That's so good from Sergi to manoeuvre himself. And that's just wide from Marc Bernils. Just snuck out. It was great defence. The players on your near side. Double-hander from Marc coming in. Surprise shot from Sergi. Look at that backhand again, Marc Bernils. Reaction, Sergi. Oh, and there it is from Edu.
Too good. Playing to Marc's feet and knowing that the ball was going to come up and all he's got to do is put it back down.
Oh, sensational defence, though.
Unbelievable.
Marc and Sergi.
Marc is not a small guy, and he moves incredibly well and gets down to those low balls.
I know he's like a tap dancer, a Bali dancer or something. His flexibility and his fast feet.
How much he'd like that description, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I hope he'll never watch this back. He's a big dude. I'm pretty scared of him. So. The smash again, and that
too good.
Is, I think, in and as good as it gets.
That was Augustine Tapia, if ever I see it. 5 centimeters inside the court.
No, he's supposed to be playing in Valladolid this evening in Premier Padel, but he popped in here for a quick smash and then.
Absolutely, to show us how it was done.
I know.
Wow.
Well, he's certainly not short of confidence, is he? So.
Don't forget to mention you're sitting next to the high coach.
Sorry, we're just getting distracted by a random in the crowd. So.
That's actually the high. That's the winner of the high gold category today.
Oh yeah.
Alex Miron sat next to us.
Didn't recognise him.
Enjoying a drink, watching this final.
Big clinch in the fist there. Paul and Edu, they get the hold and lead 4-2. Another couple of cheap points going their way. That return of serve flying long. And we're not used to seeing that from these four. Not used to seeing many mistakes at all.
Pressure on a little bit here.
Paul continuing with his vocal play as you were describing. He's so silent, isn't he? Reminds me of big James Bond vibes, actually. So.
Yeah, very stoic.
Very stoic.
Yeah, the exhale and the noise, very important for a lot of players to remind them to breathe during the point so they don't hold their breath.
Release the tension in the body, isn't it? So. Beautiful down the line, no panic from Marc, scoops it up. That one just lands in, big. No, good fake from Paul. And that's too much from Marc. He slammed it into the back glass and it flew long.
Paul really creating that point with a really beautiful surprise touch, short at Marc's feet.
15-0. Beautiful shot from Sergi. Serve down the middle, volley to the corner. The oldest trick in the book. The oldies are the goodies, eh?
Evergreen.
Reach there from Marc. He slams it forward, Edu between the legs. And he couldn't continue. A hand of apology there from Marc to his opponent. The thumbs up from Edu. He can really transition forward like an express train there, bulleting the ball towards Edu. He did well to evade it and get it back, but 40-15, Sergi. Edu tries to return the favour, but he sends it wide. 4-3 for Paul and Edu, still with a break in this first set.
Fantastic. These players, you know, with so much respect for each other, not leaving any gaps behind, so that they can be lobbed easily, playing nice and deep. So it means that these chiquitas, they're really using these chiquitas to bring themselves to the net and get themselves from the back up. At worst to be in volley, and at best to win the point. And all these players with such beautiful hands, able to put the ball where they want, wherever they want, you know.
And I say this is their 6th final, but these guys have played against each other for years and years in Barcelona. Edu and Marc winning many tournaments together, actually, and now finding themselves on opposing teams. Pretty comfortable routes to the final for both teams. Not a lot of stress for anyone. Lots of 6-1, 6-love, 6-2s. We thought the semis today would be a little bit closer, but both of them really showed their form, not just their class. Both dismantling their opponents. I think 6-1, 6-1, and then for Marc and Sergi, and then 6-1, 6-2 for Paul and Edu. So light work.
Absolutely. I mean, the the difference between these teams and the semi-finalists. The smashes are bigger, and the hands of both right side players are more technical and more accurate and less prone to mistakes, and that's what makes the difference in competitive paddle.
Paul Alcina for serve. 4-3 to the good with the break, remember. Nicely watched from Sergi. Nicely slowed down as well from Marc. Edu, accelerates it, and that's long. Marc points to his head as he speaks to Sergi. And think of the game plan, focus. Love 15. It's long. That's an incredible angle and an incredible get from Marc. And into the net from Paul Alcina there, as he looked to put a little extra bit of speed on the Vibera. It didn't go to plan. Love 30, and this is a big point for Marc and Sergi to create a break-back opportunity. And that one's long from Sergi.
A very important point for Edu and Paul to win. Let's see if they can follow it up. It's one thing going 30 love down. It's a whole other thing going down love 40.
Oh, and all of a sudden 30 all, 2 cheap points. Much to the relief of Paul and Edu, and I'm sure much to the frustration of Marc and Sergi. The net cord, and it takes it out of the reach of Sergi. Marc can't believe it, he almost sank to his knees. Saying all the luck is with them at the moment. They need to catch a break. 40-30, game point after being love 30 down. Oh, and Marc tried to gamble, and Paul saw it coming somehow. Marc expected a more gentle bandeja. Ran across to take it, but to no avail.
That was unbelievable. Paul really waiting for that ball to drop low and getting a real horizontal overhead.
And Edu just touches. What a backhand. Waits for that one. Lifts this. Big Vibera to the corner, and it's too good for Sergi Nogueras. And from Edu, the first show of emotion in the match. A huge cry of delight.
God, it's great to see some emotion from the Stoic. I mean, unbelievable backhand there at full stretch.
Ooh, and he follows it up with a pretty poor backhand by his standards into the net.
Isn't that always the story of paddle? Something fantastic, and then I missed the basic one.
I would say for me, they don't alternate. It's far too many of them missing and not enough of the special shots. So the reactions of Paul. Oh, goodness me! And Paul and Edu. A little bit of a confusion, but it worked out well for Marc. And Marc's return was unbelievable. He was almost sitting on the floor to get it back.
Not only was that the return to get a very, very difficult ball back over the net, he turned fully to put it back down the line when nowhere expected it to be. Unbelievable shot. What a talent.
Ooh, I think. Yes, I think that hit Edu, not the fence. It was Edu that hit the fence. I thought he'd completely missed it for a second, but no. 40-15. Great defence, and Marc going for the shorter angle with Paul deep in the centre of the court. A little too tight and into the net. Marc will smash this. And it's done, yes. Edu says it touched the netting above the fence, and it's 5-4. Paul and Edu 1 game away from the first set. It's time for Sergi and Marc to break if they want to do so.
Absolutely, their last chance. And what do you think is going to make the difference? What would you change, David, to try and get this, to steal this last game?
I mean, it's not easy. There's not really, for me, been a pattern of play standing out in favour of Marc and Sergi, a consistent tactic working. You just got to get the serve in and go from there, I think, against these guys.
Absolutely. Very often the short, slower volley, the shorter volley to the middle, trying to draw both players in at the back was often very, very effective. But with how good Paul's low backhand return is and how much pressure it puts on the counter-attack, Marc and Sergi not able to capitalize too much on that.
Yeah.
Really puts the pressure. You can really see why Paul was seeded #1 for so long.
Indeed. It's not easy to really see any weakness in any player. They're all pretty similar levels. I'm sure if we had Tapia here, he would exploit every weakness they have. But yeah, I would certainly struggle to walk on court knowing this is what I'll target.
Absolutely. I mean, in that last game, Marc was able to capitalize on a couple of snap decisions from Edu, where he probably could have let it hit the glass, slowed the play down a little bit, but rather than let that happen, he wanted to play fast and try and get the counter attack, which, you know, at his level, in his judgment, it's 49-51 sometimes, but Marc was able to finish a couple of points there because Edu put a couple of floating returns.
Serve goes long. Edu under this, it's not too deep. He goes for the fake. Marc will cover. Oh, this beautiful touch. They're all on one side of the court. Marc's across. He just scoops it up. Oh, and Sergi couldn't recover in time. Marc, I think, frustrated with himself for putting up a fairly easy overhead for Edu rather than frustration with his partner.
So often the way in paddle, far more frustrated with ourselves than with our partner.
Serve down the middle, Sergi rescues. Ooh, but the second one too good. 30 love, and they are 2 points away from the first set.
There's that soft volley that we were talking about that's just so important. When you're playing a left-hander and right-hander team, that middle indecision can be really beneficial.
Just long, and there brings up 3 set points in the men's pro final here at the Bali Padel Academy for Edu Altamirez and Paul Alsina.
Yeah, Paul really getting the better of Marc on that exchange.
Just landing in, and Edu tries to show anything you can do, Marc. I can't do it at the moment, but I'll try again soon.
A little optimistic from behind the service line. I'm sure it's in training on a normal day that would be in every time. But in front of this crowd.
And that one is just long, and there's the first set for Paul and Edu. They took 1 set from Marc and Sergi last week, but it wasn't the second one. Last week it was Marc and Sergi that took the first. Change of plan this week. Second set coming up once we're back from a little break.
that bass on below. I got that rock and roll, that future flow, that digital spit.
This is the story of a beer born from tradition and crafted with exceptional quality, shimmering in the brightest gold with every pore, infinitely fresh and pure, a true Royal Bavarian beer, brewed with passion and precision, delivering a taste that stands the test of time.
Exploding like fireworks in the sky. Sapphire. Touching on your body while you're pushing on me. Don't you in the party? I could do this all week. We'll be dancing till the morning, go to bed, we won't sleep. Jumma, 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 kiss it, daddy, body.
Back to Bali Padel Academy, BPA for the Knox Open, Knox Masters. The final match of the tournament, and the second set starts. And not the way that Marc Bernils would want. 2 mistakes. He went for a big smash into the back glass, and now he went for a drop shot into the net. Sergi, I think, did a great job here, his partner. Going over, having a chat, calming him down.
That's it. Sometimes you just got to get back on the same page, boost your confidence again. It's great to know that your partner's got your back rather than
Just stay
the
patient.
opposite.
Paul's got a touch on that. Sergi has to hurry up. Nicely done. Good job from Sergi. He saw that Edu was rushing. Played it into his feet. Great decision. And that was better from Marc. More patient. Just get the ball in play for a few points.
Yeah, it looks like Sergi said to Marc, just hit a few in the middle for now. Hit the middle, get your form back on, and get your confidence back, and that looks like what he did.
That's going out. Paul was there, but Marc was there as well, and Edu's on the floor. Great job, Marc Bernils. His smash was a goodie. Paul was wise to it.
And isn't that great advice for all of us? Hit a couple in the middle, and all of a sudden your form comes back, and you're back on top. Doesn't take much in paddle.
40-30, great recovery. 30-0, great recovery. And now 40-30, I can see the future. For it again, it's going to kick out, is it? No. Oh, and Paul stretches, he couldn't get there, and he gives the doorpost an almighty whack in frustration.
Sergi there pointing to his head, reminding Marc that the game plan that they agreed on just worked fantastically well to come back from love 30 to take the game. And the game plan looks like there was no secret. It was hit more to the middle, draw both players in so that they have the corners to attack to. And fantastic.
I'm really impressed with Marc there. I think the Marc that we first saw in Asia last year in Jakarta and Singapore, if he had a couple of bad points, he was out of the game for games, 2, 3, 4 games it took him to recover. There, one little chat, and he was really focused again. Huge growth in his game.
Yeah, maybe it looks like he's found the right partner in Sergi. Sergi, a pillar of calm and discipline.
There, maybe a first mistake of the match almost from Edu.
Yeah.
Nothing like that so far.
Didn't know where it was going to come off, whether it was going to be glass or high or low. Easy mistake to make.
Oh, Paul Alsina with a huge roar to the crowd. Beautiful. Delighted with that one. And an applause from Sergi and Marc. Just reading the play perfectly. Knowing that he was under pressure, but knowing that Marc would attack down the middle and just positioned himself. I think that's long, and it is indeed way long.
It's ironic that both of those points are worth the same, but that one where you've got that volley battle that you do actually win feels like it's worth so much more.
The momentum it brings, and the emotional injection from Paul is big for him. Great movement from Edu. Oh, and shot from Sergi. A big smile from Marc as he goes to his teammate to congratulate him. Phenomenal play. 40-30 for Paul and Edu. Still game point. Edu holds whilst the spectator walks past the door. Backhand from Marc. I don't know. He's happy to lob. His favourite shot, but he gets it wrong. Golden point.
Look into the crowd in case they have the answers.
That's not me, Paul. Don't look to me.
Marc and Sergi really need this one.
Just out, and a big cry from Edu again. They know the importance of that, even though it's only 1-1. They don't want to fall behind at any moment in the set. Just going to creep over. Oh my goodness me. Oh my goodness me.
Slight miscalculation by Marc there, but he didn't get punished for it.
I think all four players are scratching their heads there as to what happened. Marc a little too casual, and then Edu completely taken by surprise. He'd already given up on the point, I think. Marc goes for it again. Oh, and it hits the net on the way through from Paul and squirts out of the reach of Sergi. A stroke of fortune, I would say. But Marc got one on the last point, so evens, 15-all.
Absolutely. Paul will be very happy with that contact in the net.
Oh, and Sergi, that's one of his first errors in the match as well. Or unforced errors anyway. 15-30. Taking his time, gaining composure. Return from Sergi right in the feet. Sorry, Edu. Oh, and that one beautiful spin on the ball. It almost died on the glass. Edu always has such an accusatory look at the glass as though that was at fault.
Yeah, even at this level, playing a left-hander, sometimes the spin catches you off guard and it comes off completely the wrong way.
30-all. Big stretch from Sergi, stuck at the back now. High lob, Edu. Laying now into the net on the volley. Marc shakes his racket towards his partner, saying, "All you, buddy. All you, amigo." Probably. Oh, and there. A few errors from Edu, uncharacteristic, as we say. And 2-1 for Marc and Sergi, second set.
Fantastic. Would you say, David, that that Sergi's ranking going up to number one is been really affected by playing next to Marc? Would you say that's an important factor in him moving up to number one?
They've been an incredible team since they've joined the Asian circuit, mostly on the APBT and the most recent FIP events. But yeah, I think when they first came, and then in January this year in Bangkok, the APBT Open to start the year, they really upped their level. There were a couple of Premier Padel players came over for that one, and they really sort of rose to the occasion, beat them in that final in 3 sets, an amazing match. And since then, they've kind of been living on that confidence, and their level has been super high. So yes, a very formidable team. They've split up a couple of times for lower ranking events. But when it comes to the big tournaments, they are firmly together, Marc and Sergi. And I think their partnership, that's what they've strengthened, how they work together, the trust in each other, that's really been the big difference in recent months.
Yeah, it really reminds me of the situation of the great success of Bella for so long, playing with such a strong left-hander, taking the pressure off to have to finish every point, playing with consistency and playing smart.
Recovery from Sergi once but twice. Big smash in. Sergi, Marc says he might have been there. 50 love, the serve of Ramirez. Pick up. Oh, wild. Just that one.
Not quite enough steps back on that one to get the ball in front of himself, to let it drop as low as he wanted it to drop, so he could play it flat across into Marc's corner. A shot he's had so much success with so far in this match.
Just. Amedu just. 30-15.
The hand up from Edu. Apologies for the bit of extra luck.
Good work from Marc. And almost great reactions from Marc. He couldn't control it. It's a bit of a furlong figure on the ground there.
Yeah, Edu really has short, sharp volleys. No time for reaction.
Paul will smash, and Paul will win the game. And Marc again on his haunches. They're definitely picking on him a little bit. It's not his best day so far. I know that the first person that will back him to improve is himself.
Absolutely, and that's with the level of paddle that these boys are playing at. You find a crack, you must exploit it. Because if you don't, your opponents will find one in your team and exploit that. The margins of error that these guys are playing at, so small.
Oh, and confusion between Paul and Edu there. Marc and Sergi perhaps a little lucky, but an awkward ball. Big kick smash from Sergi. 15 love.
Is that high lob?
They played this time for Marc. Just stays in, Paul covers it nicely. Kick this time from Marc, and it hits the light post and flies away to the delight of him. 30 love, Marc and Sergi.
Confident from Marc there. Falling backwards and played that overhead.
One of his favourites. When you think you've hit a good lob, he pulls that out of nowhere. And that's a goodie as well.
2 in a row for Marc. His confidence will build.
It's more like it.
Yeah, nothing takes the pressure off better than a 40 love game.
Does well to recover that and drives it straight at Paul, who almost recovers the situation, but he doesn't.
Wow.
3-2 for Marc and Sergi. No breaks in the second set. Paul and Edu took the first 6-4. Back with you in a couple of minutes.
This is the story of a beer born from tradition and crafted with exceptional quality, shimmering in the brightest gold with every pore, infinitely fresh and pure, a true Royal Bavarian beer, brewed with passion and precision, delivering a taste that stands the test of time.
Exploding like fireworks in the sky. Sapphire. Touching on your body while you're pushing on me. Don't you in the party? I could do this all week. We'll be dancing till the morning, go to bed, we won't sleep. Jumma, 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 kiss it, daddy, body.
Oh, that is brutal. And again, it's brutal. And
That was a real show
it was a
of
point
force.
for Marc and Sergi. I
That
wasn't
was
quite
a
sure
real
for a
show of
second.
force.
It all happened so fast. So.
Oh, the force came out of that backhand. Really wanted to drive that home.
Marc decided he was winning that point. And win it, he did. Adjust nicely. Sergi slows it down. Bieber out to the corner coming. Slight miscue from Sergi. Great reading of the play from Marc. Unbelievable, actually. He'll smash this, will he? No, calm as you like. I don't know what's going to happen. That's a great shot.
Sergi really feeling like he's got the better of Edu at the moment, rather than putting it at Pole's incredible defence. Probably quite a smart move.
Edu could have got that back there, I think, but he's made more mistakes in recent games, so probably better to stick with him.
Will Edu's form continue?
He'll be fine. Great shot from Sergi Nogueras. What a volley. Again, he's done that a few times in this match. So much spin and pace on it that it just rolls along the ground. You'd need a racket about as thick as a piece of paper to get underneath that. So, break point. This one plus a golden if it's needed. Recovers. Oh, and Sergi.
A very important point for Edu after a couple of unforced errors or a couple of points, a couple of balls he should have got back. That's a real confidence booster.
Golden.
Who's taking the return? Sergi, Marc, Sergi.
Marc's taking that golden point. He scoops that so nicely. And they get the break. Marc and Sergi in a huge roar from Marc Bernils. The first sign of real confidence we've seen from him in the game after some early mishaps, let's see.
Absolutely. Beaming smile straight over to his partner, getting a bit of reinforcement.
And I really feel that point where we resumed commentary, where he had that big smash followed by the massive backhand, that felt like a bit of a momentum shift to me. His first real sign of intent in the match, and the Marc that we're more used to seeing in Asia.
Absolutely, those moments can be really polarizing. They can really steal your resolve, or they can really shoot your confidence. Fantastic for Marc that drilled in.
That's long from Paul. Chats to himself. Lob is his best shot. He can't believe he's missed so many today. Certainly to give up 15 love. First point of the game, so crucial.
They're really hammering those middle volleys.
Edu into the net now, 2 very cheap points. Momentum, it's a powerful thing, hey?
The demeanour of Marc and Sergi really changing now. Big
Smile on
smiles.
his face, yeah.
Another one. Another first volley into that middle. They're really hammering that tactic and getting a lot of success out of it. The benefit, of course, of that tactic is both players know where the ball is going to be, and they don't have to cover quite so much of the angles.
A big scoreboard here in BP8. I've noticed Marc in particular, but all 4 players looking at it almost every point, rather than trusting themselves like they usually do for the scoring. Very interesting. Almost distraction. It's a better love for Paul. Oh, and a total miscue from Sergi, Marc Bernils. His hand is wet. Tries it quickly again. He checks the scoreboard. 40-30. No point yet. Still one opportunity.
Packet's back to dry. Hopefully confidence has come back.
Really slow serve from Sergi there, mixing it up. Paul's up on the fence to get that, and then a great recovery. And that's wide from Edu Altamirez. The backhand and a hug from Marc and Sergi. They are pumped to be going into the change of ends, 5-2 in the lead.
Yeah, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic from both of those guys. Marc really feeling the confidence come back now. And great to see him back to form from previous tournaments, previous finals. And what a time to do it, you know.
What a time to do it indeed. The set looked really even.
So if you're Paul and Edu, what do you do from here? What do you do to get that break?
I mean, they just played so solid and consistent at the beginning, so they need to go back to that. We saw a few mistakes in recent games. Edu, a couple of volley errors. I think they gave away some cheap return of serve straight into the back glass or into the net, so they need to cut those out.
Absolutely.
Look at Paul's defence and really say to Marc and Sergi, okay, beat us, win the point.
Absolutely, make them play.
Yeah.
Make them play, make them win, rather than giving that. But at this level, you give someone too much of a margin of error.
Yeah.
And too much room over the net, and they'll punish you. Especially how good these players are. I see Marc changing his overgrip.
Yeah, we'll have a slightly extended break here, but Marc will have changed grip thousands of times. It'll take him about 20 seconds. Oh no, he's done already. Luminek. That's got to be a world record, no?
I think there's a couple of times where Marc and Sergi have found success playing down to Edu's feet when he's just in front of the service line. He's eager to get to that net, as well he should be, but he might want to sit back slightly in defense and play with just a tiny touch more patience if it's not succeeding for him.
Serving, takes the net. Good communication from Marc and Sergi, but Paul alert as ever to put it into the empty gap. Sergi was on his way outside. Marc shouted, no, no, no. Managed to rescue it, but not enough. 15 love. And a must-win game for Paul and Edu. Just lands in from Paul. Great drive. Sergi, sorry. Great shot as well from Paul. they're really targeting the body of Paul with those drive volleys straight into his midriff. But he gets the racket in the right place every single time. Pretty love. Edu will dispatch this with ease. He's a big, strong boy, Edu Altamirez.
As a big smasher, there's nothing you want better than a lob that short, just to boost your confidence.
Might have another one. He does. That's not going to be achievable for Sergi. It was a great leap, to be fair. He didn't get the ball. He might have won the Olympic high jump, but 5-3, Marc and Sergi. We have heard our MC say over at the top of us, they are serving for the set to make it 1-1 and force a decider. 10:55 p.m. here in Bali. Going for a late one.
And what a wonderful way to spend the time.
No one's leaving, and oh, Paul scurried across. Couldn't get there.
A little lucky with the bounce there. Sergi with the hand up, apologising for the luck.
That's way into the back glass. He slaps Edu's racket in frustration. Edu puffs his cheeks. Adjustment. Mahada. Oh, and Sergi put his back into that one, but into the net.
That lob from Paul with the backspin, just a little too good, giving Sergi no room to get some real oomph on that Bahada. Great fast lobs.
Great double-handed lob. Oh no, it hit the lights. From Marc. He's got a wry smile on his face. He can't quite believe it. And when stuff doesn't go his way, it's good to see him smiling. That's not how he was earlier in the match. But 30-all, and this is a huge point. Break up. They won't want to give Paul and Edu even a sniff of a break point. As he serves to Paul. Lovely in the corner from Edu. Side glass from Sergi. Paul shouted it was out, but Edu took it. Mahada's coming. Good look from Sergi. Across. Oh, Edu into the net. They were in the ascendancy in the point, taking the net from their opponents, but
credit to Sergi on that one, playing that ball very late and straight in the middle of Paul and Edu. Edu really after stretching to get across there, and unfortunately forced an error from him.
Oh, and Marc. It's a bit of a basic error from him. It's golden point, so it's still set point, but it's also break back point, and it's going to be Edu to receive. On the backhand. Gets it in, and it's break back. 2 errors in a row from Marc Berniels in the backhand volley. And he gifts the break back to Paul and Edu. They still lead 5-4, but Paul and Edu are certainly in with a fight now. A fighting chance, sorry.
Absolutely fantastic from Marc there, serving into that spot on the glass that all the great players serve into. It puts your opponent to a decision whether you've got to take it before the glass or after the glass. And the closer you can get to that sweet, exact spot, the harder it is for your opponent to counter-attack you. And Marc made full use of that one and forced an error from Edu there. And that's where we should all be aiming our serves when we're serving into the glass, halfway between the service line and the break the break in the glass, and you really got to make a quick decision, especially with the speed that these boys can serve at. It really does force errors. It's great to see and great to learn from for us mere mortals, us amateurs.
This makes me feel like a beginner, never mind an amateur. So it's a whole different sport they're playing, eh?
Yeah.
Different sport.
It's these guys make it look easy, but putting a ball in that sweet spot consistently at time and time again, and not only putting a ball there, but putting a ball deep, which is so important when you play at this level. If you do a short serve against one of these guys, they're going to turn it into a chiquita and put it back at your feet, step forward and take the momentum of the point, or turn it into a lob and push you back. That's the margins these guys are playing with.
Paul to serve, serving to stay in the set. Just had break. Can it be break for Marc and Sergi? Oh, and Marc in the stretch, and it's into the net. 3 points in a row, his volley into the net has 1 point for Paul.
Middle solves the riddle, as they say.
It's fancy.
You like that one?
I'll be claiming that on my own the next time. So. Oh, and good shot, Sergi. As harsh as it is, it's a great tactic to fire it into the body of a non-rushing player. It's not the nicest thing a coach will teach you, but it's a goodie.
Absolutely, it's part of the game. No better place to put it.
Yeah, good lob. Always rushing in there. Bada from Edu. Oh, and he's wild there on Edu. He doesn't like playing on the right.
No.
Not
Feeling out of position, perhaps.
I know. Maybe the quickest way to get back on the left was to end the point. Win or lose. Use that nicely. Big smash from Marc. That one's going to be too good as well. And it's break points. Set points again for Marc and Sergi.
They must be thinking, how did we get back here? And Edu and Paul must be thinking, how did we get here?
Yeah,
that turned around so quickly.
They just wrestled their way back into the match, or into the set, Paul and Edu. Now they're under pressure once more. Set point. It's long. Serve.
3 set points. They've got to get back.
Follows that well. And that's the set there. Marc and Sergi secure it. Big high fives between them, and again Edu, big positive body language towards Paul as well. Paul not feeling quite so positive, chucks his racket into the fence and slumps into his seat. We will be back after a break to discuss and watch the third set, the deciding set, the final set of this Bali Padel Academy tournament. See you shortly.
In 3, 2, 1.
Hello, hello. Welcome back. Edu back in the court. Eager to get on with things. Marc, I think a few players taking a bathroom break before the third set.
Yeah, they fought.
We are awaiting
well.
Sergi.
Yeah, they fought well there to get back in that, to get back into the match. And I'm sure they feel on top of the world for getting that second set, but I'm sure they're really feeling the nerves going into this third set. Good to reset, have a bathroom break. Both players changing their shirts, feeling fresh, and that can be so important as a player. Just to feel like you've got a bit more energy, not soaked in the sweat from the last couple of sets. And very often players will change rackets, make sure the grip is feeling fresh for the third set, or change over grips. Marc with a smile on his face. He looks like he's feeling confident. I'm sure he's been here before.
And here we go. Smiles on Marc and Sergi faces. They came back. Starting third set now.
Marc to serve. First one goes into the net.
Tempted. He's very tempted. That's outrageous.
Oh.
That's absolutely outrageous. And you look at his face. Oh, he's going to surgery. That was quite good, that one.
I was just about to say how casual that second serve was, and then he comes out with that. Marc's loosened up.
It's not wowing the crowd. It's not the rally of all rallies, but that is skill of the highest quality there. Not many players in the world that can do that. He fancies another. Edu gets on it. There's a big gap in the court. Edu scurries back and he gets it. But then he looks. Sergi's going to make him run again, and this time Sergi does the trick. Big shouts and screams from the pair.
Sometimes those out by three that just clear the defense are so much better than the big, huge ones that give their opponents a chance to run outside and play it back into your side of the net. Beautiful from Sergi.
Good reversal. Edu gets there. Oh, and just wide from Edu. Marc's face is one of the highlights of the match at the moment. Every point he's just showing every emotion he has. There, a huge sigh of relief. He thought he'd been beaten down his blind side.
Super animated, in contrast to his partner Sergi, who's giving nothing away.
There, a loose return from Edu. Just get that extra bit of pace and spin on the return. No change of shirts from Paul and Edu. I actually think the change of clothing sometimes contributes to the appearance. Like the shirt looks sweaty and old, and that kind of almost looks like the momentum is gone.
Edu's demeanor, he does look a little tired today.
Yeah.
Playing in this Indonesian humidity, not easy. Playing at this level for this long. There's not many places that are as challenging as this to maintain your speed and dynamic hits.
Oh, goodness me, what a good try from Marc. It was a great volley though. Deserved 50 love. Now into the net from Sergi.
Right into that
Look
sweet
at us.
spot that we were talking about with the serve. Fantastic from Edu. Drew out the mistake from Sergi.
Marc perhaps coming forward there a little bit early in the rally. Could have been a bit more patient. Third ball into the net from Marc and Sergi in this game, and it's 40 love. that's game. Another boost return. 1-1. We're flying through the games now.
Edu will be bolstered with the confidence from serving and getting such weak returns from the boys, drawing such mistakes. And they look ready.
Well done.
Those don't come back.
Well, today we've seen a few. We've seen a few errors from easy positions like that, but it seems like his form has returned. Stage for leading him. Sergi? Sergi Nogueras serving. Oh, and that one hits the light post as well. And the luck's with you, the luck's with you. 40 love. Beautiful smash from Sergi Nogueras.
Out by 3, and I think lucky for the people in the front row that it did hit the light, because that was going wide, and I think there was an Edu flying towards them.
Between the legs from Paul. And Edu Altamirez wins the point.
It really does. That volley lob from Paul to put it over Sergi's head really made the difference there, and Edu with a beautiful crisp volley.
Good effort from Paul, didn't get a touch, and that's the game. 2-1, Sergi and Marc lead. Final set for this Bali Padel Academy Oxford.
Fantastic. Both teams coming out looking strong in this third set. No sign of any fatigue. All the players guzzling water, staying hydrated. So important in this climate. Of course, these four living and working in Indonesia will be used to these conditions by now, with them standing on courts for hours and hours and hours a day, feeding balls to their students. This club, absolutely beautiful here in Bali. Huge high ceilings, really allows for the true nature of the game. The game, of course, originally played outdoors. High lobs being a big factor in the game, and Paul, of course, using those high lobs today to great effect. Indoor, of course, the ball not moving in the wind, but still it makes it a challenge for the big smashers in Marc and Sergi, because the longer the ball's got to drop down, the more gravity pulls it down and it comes down faster, and your timing's got to be spot on, David.
It does. It does. I would not claim to know much about it. Let it bounce in place.
Is that a smash a big part of your game?
Some days.
On a good day?
Some days, yeah.
I think that's all I've got is a smash. Some days.
Like to defend. Cheeky.
Between it.
Edu, he was stretching.
He was unlucky there, just caught the top of the table, was creeping over, and it would have landed in the cage, and chances are potentially bounced down to get the point. Very often.
Pace of the ball beating Marc there.
Very often with the cage touches, the softer it goes into the cage if it's coming up, the more likely that it's going to bounce down again. The harder the ball goes into the cage, the more like a wall it becomes and behaves.
set 2 in a row, and he's decided the back glass is to blame. He's going to get a towel and dry it. I think it's either his own bum or Paul's that have been sweaty and on that glass.
If Padel doesn't pan out for him, window cleaning might. Doing a great job back there.
Very efficient. Landed, great reactions. Oh, and almost great reactions again from Marc in the stretch, but it was a great bahada from Edu.
Fantastic. In the middle there, Sergi putting up a lob that just hugged the cage and the glass. So difficult. Paul played it beautifully.
What a return from Marc. That's outrageous.
That takes confidence.
40-30, a little clap from Edu. It's wide as well, and it's all of a sudden golden point, great point.
Yeah, Edu giving that clap to that incredibly difficult shot. Edu wants him playing more of those because some of those will be out, of course.
Oh, and into the net. Marc went for something a bit cheeky, I think. Tried to drop it over. Just caught the top of the net and landed on the wrong side for his liking, but the right side for Paul and Edu. 2-2, and they hang on.
A very difficult ball to do anything with other than just get it back.
What a volley again from Sergi. He shakes his head and almost disbelieves at his own ability.
Yeah, I think that was a little longer than even he intended.
Yeah, but worked the treat. Ooh, Marc, no.
I saw the analysis for the top level paddle, and even the top level players very, very, very rarely hit into that closest 1 meter around the perimeter of the court. It's just not it's just a margin of error that they work with.
Wants to miss it from Paul, gives them a chance, he recovers though. And Sergi backtracking and it stays in. Paul recovers, they're all back in play. Smash from Edu will do the business, and it's 15-30 and a big roar to the crowd from Edu Altamirez.
Beautiful pressure from Paul and Edu. Of course, Marc probably very disappointed with himself that he went for the lob there rather than just put it back flat and potentially continue that point rather than give Edu that easy smash.
Oh, and Edu into the net this time. He turns around in complete disbelief that he's missed that one. He had a big open gap to put the ball in. 30 all and a little slight relief. Marc and Sergi. Pressure still on though. 30 all, 2-2 final set. It's a big moment. Actually, it's a big moment. The MC says it's huge. I'm underestimating it.
Paul and Edu talking to each other about technique there, and Paul just reminding Edu, sometimes just hit it flat.
Basics.
Just get your volley flat, just show your opponent the holes, and when the ball comes, surprisingly, it goes back over.
Seconds are just in. Oh, and it's an amazing smash again. Edu first to congratulate him. Paul says, would you stop doing that?
There's nothing you can do about those.
Oh, it's just perfection. Absolute millimeter perfection.
And I'm sure Marc would tell you he got an ounce of luck with that one, because 5 centimeters longer, and that was a point for Edu and Paul.
Have you ever spoken to Marc?
I've not.
Yeah, he wouldn't admit that was luck. He would say it was absolutely what he planned.
Fantastic. Fantastic. That's what you want in a teammate, pure confidence.
Serves long, but they play on. From Edu, and it strikes the legs of Sergi as he tried to let it go through.
It does feel like Paul's shouts get louder as the momentum for that team gets going.
His golden point, break point opportunity for Marc, for Edu and Paul. Marc serves to Edu. Much calmer this time. And that's long from Edu. He sort of panicked as that one flew towards him. He flicked his wrists.
Yeah, another one where he probably could have let that hit the glass, slowed the point down. Yeah, it's those ones in paddle where you've just got to react. Sometimes when it's flying at you, it's a time to take a second, let it hit the glass, and give yourself an opportunity for a safe lob. But split second decisions, David.
Yeah, just actually the last few points, hearing Paul's cries or whatever, the grunt, let's say, as he plays, it makes me think we've actually not heard so much of that in the last few games. I think Marc and Sergi have been targeting Edu a lot more. Paul's been out of the game much more than he was earlier in the match, and I think that's a big sign of why Marc and Sergi are dominating. Not because Edu's a poorer player, but just Paul's defence can be so tiring and frustrating, and
absolutely.
so yeah, I think they certainly left him out of the game a little. Came back into it a bit more there, and the golden point opportunity came.
Yeah, I mean the fridge tactic that we know and love in competitive paddle, where you put one of the players of your opponent into the fridge, as they say, to cool down. You know, we use that tactic so that you're targeting one guy and targeting hopefully someone who's not playing quite so strong, and also the other player of the opponent gets a little bit cold and loses a bit of their touch. A very important part of paddle. Seems mean, certainly not something we do in a friendly game, but at this level, in this setting, absolutely.
Had it in a friendly game to me a few times, unfortunately. So a few wasted Tuesday evenings. When Marc, Sergi steal the first point, Paul with an unexpected overhead error. They immediately point to their heads. So that's down to their concentration, their patience, their tactics and their planning.
Always very telling with those two. They're working with something, they're working to a very specific strategy, which at this level, or any level of paddle, is incredibly important. That both of you are trying to play the same game plan.
Short one, Edu will smash. Marc doesn't get it quite right. And he's furious with himself, throwing his arms in a little mini tantrum. Sergi might have been able to get there, you never know. I don't think Edu hit that quite as well as he hoped. Flowing back.
Wasn't a million miles away from being in. Marc's attempt.
No. Just the side glass, Paul's happy to let it bounce, and they get in each other's way, Marc and Sergi. I think almost Sergi volleyed that forward and Marc's racket was in the way and blocked it. I'm not quite sure, but 30-15. Great shot down the middle from Paul regardless.
Yeah, he gave them no time to react there and hit it in the middle of the two of them. Becoming a 50-50 ball.
From Edu. It's wrong, it's too long, and it's 30-all.
Marc very happy with his partner there, listening to the shout. That wasn't a million miles out.
Almost all of these games going to 30-30. points, pressure points. Reaction from Marc's on the floor, and can Sergi on the floor? No! No! What a try! What an effort! Sergi looks to the crowd beside him.
Fantastic pressure from Paul and Edu there. Really making Sergi and Marc stretch for those defensive shots.
Good job from Paul and Edu. Ourselves a golden.
Marc and Sergi very clearly working the game plan where they're really pushing the lobs, trying to get mistakes out of Edu and Paul, and that time it worked.
Marc, does he scoop it well enough? He does, it's amazing. Oh, and Sergi. Oh, I can't quite believe it. I can't quite believe it.
Just missed the middle of the racket there, unfortunately. It didn't come back.
It wasn't as though Paul had struck it as hard as possible. It was maybe even the gentleness of it was what surprised Sergi.
Absolutely. Sometimes the Bahadi, you've got your racket flexed to come 1,000,000 miles an hour, and someone smart will play not 1,000,000 miles an hour.
We'll have a pause after this point. There's a broken joint on the glass for sure as Marc clattered into the glass there. Neck hard. Big smash is going to sail over the head. No, Paul recovers it by jumping on the fence through the legs. Big smash from Edu. Stays in. Sergi into the gap from Edu. And he can't get there. Sergi, what a point from all four players.
What a display of paddle.
To examine the joint, there's people already on hand to fix it, I think.
Yeah, the staff here at BPA always on these joint fixings.
Or 15.
These joint fixings made of hard acrylic. The reason for them, they take the shock absorption, they take the shock rather than the glass taking it, and they're incredibly effective. Marc's got his window skills out again.
What a point that was. Some unbelievable saves. In the end, it was Edu left with an open court to just pop the ball gently into. Well, to stay calm, because that point was 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
He'd been forgiven for snatching at the opportunity. So.
Yeah, really forcing his opponents onto one side with increasing pressure as a duo. Edu and Paul really showing how long they've been playing together with a history in Barcelona and now playing here in Indonesia and on the APPT.
Paul with a big fist pump there as he walked past onto the court. He shows some emotion in games, but mostly frustration. He's not a huge sort of fist pumper. He was there. He believes they can win this one. They're desperate to win it. Beat Marc and Sergi for a while in a final. 15, remember, 3-3 deciding set. Fake from Marc, he was wise. Going into the net this time from Edu, he hops up and down with frustration. Pull going. Squeeze that one over, 15-all.
Hoping to counter Chiquita there, but the ball was a little bit too difficult. Trying to catch that on the half volley. That's a very, very tough shot.
They've got it. I was going to say what a recovery from Marc, but it just clipped the top of the net. Fell back on his own side, 15-30. Big pressure moment again.
Yeah, putting the winners down onto Marc's backhand there, being a left-handed player.
Up to lob. Header from Sergi, well blocked from Edu, and he roars with delight as Sergi's backhand finds the fence. It sails wide and it brings about 2 clear breakpoint opportunities, which would then be followed by a golden, so 3. What an opportunity in the match this could be for Paul and Edu.
Great time to do it. The crowd very excited.
That's great from Marc, the drop shot followed by the big smash. Really cool, calm and collected under pressure. Yeah, obviously Paul and Edu, the Bali boys. Rescue, he scoops it nicely. That's so good. And into the net now from Marc Berniels as he tries to win, and Paul jumps for joy as he races off the court. With a change of ends, they have the crucial break in the deciding set. They have to be favourites now to win. We will see what happens in a couple of minutes when we return after a short break. Back 30-15 for Paul and Edu. I think you were all watching on split screen as the ads to centre stage. Still a break for Paul and Edu as Paul sets up. A high lob, it's going to kick out. Edu can't reach there, he was hesitant. Paul was telling him to go and now he's not happy. I've never seen Paul give Edu a row before, only the other way around when Paul tries one too many drop shot. But
yeah, it's when you give your partner a clear instruction, you hope he follows. But everyone's using their best judgment.
Yeah, that's when you can tell Paul is fully engaged in a match. Part one, big smash. That'll be too good. Big cry of delight from Edu towards the Bali crowd.
I think of the 4 players, I really do think Edu has got the fastest volley. He really is like a wall. Very short, very flat. It's so difficult anything past him, and such a long reach as well.
He's going again. He's going again. And Marc Bernils, that's outrageous.
I want to see that replay. I want to see that replay.
The crowd, I think, thought Edu had won it, and out of nowhere, let's have a little replay of that one.
To get the timing of that on the backhand as it comes back is really, really high level skill.
Super, back for golden point, Paul serving to Marc Bernils. Big cry. Oh, he's going to bahada. Good reactions from Marc Bernils. Paul takes it. Sergi, there's Bandeja. Over to the corner. And it's too good for Edu, the bounce of the ball. And Paul is not a happy boy. He volleys the ball out of the court in frustration. He should probably get a warning for that.
I can feel his pain on that one when you've made all that effort to break. And it's such a common story in competitive paddle. You do everything you can to break, and you feel like you're on top of the world, and your concentration and your focus just slips, and you get broken back. I feel his pain. It's happened to me so many times. So many times.
And that's why they're #1 seeds when you think they're down and out in the final set. And Edu had that smash at 40-30. Marc pulls off something ridiculous to get them to golden point, and they seize the opportunity.
Absolutely. Pivotal moments that could go either way.
4-4. Paul long, probably still adrenaline coursing through his veins after thrashing that ball out of the court in frustration when they lost the game.
Yeah, that's the sign of a really good player, being able to calm your nervous system back, get your focus.
Marc takes it on, and that's superb. 30 love. Fantastic smash from Marc Bernils, and momentum fully with them at the moment.
Edu and Paul having crosswords. Hopefully they can get back united as a team.
It's a better lob. Sergi takes it on though. This time Edu does go. He's there. He gets it back into the gap, but Paul's there. The point continues. Behind his back from Marc, but it drifts wide. And it's all hugs and smiles from those two, despite losing the point.
Sergi once again, just creeping that by 3, just over the fence. So difficult to return.
I was just going to say, Edu went this time with no hesitation. Didn't wait for Paul's shout, so terrified of him. Good reverse from Marc, he's going to cover. Does he judge that? He does. That's too long from Sergi.
A lot of local support here for the boys who work in Bali. I noticed there in the middle of that point, Marc locking his wrist, taking any wrist movement out there to really make sure that goes over, and such a good tip for us amateur players who tend to play with too much wrist. These guys at this level, when you need to make sure, you need to be consistent, you need to make sure that goes over, you can lock that wrist and get that ball in the middle of the racket. A good lesson for all of us, David.
Indeed. 30-all. And again, I've said it so many times, a huge point. Lose this, you're facing 2 break points, you win it, you've got a game point, massive difference. Just wide. No argument from Paul and Edu. Good sportsmanship there. When you know, you know. 40-30. That one's out. Into the fence. Second serve. Good block from Edu, right in his chest. Vibra into the corner from Sergi, that's great. And Edu, will he smash? No, he Vibras. Oh, what a flick from Sergi. Marc with a fake, Edu read it. Marc recovers. Through the legs from Paul. Now he sends up a lob. Big Bahada coming. He calms it down. Nice slow play from Sergi. And Edu on the floor. Can't recover. Hold the serve. Sergi and Marc, they lead 5-4. 1 set away from the title. But Paul and Edu to serve next to stay in the match.
Fantastic. What a shot from Sergi there under pressure. Hitting it down, aiming straight towards the cage. And of course Edu trying to cut it out, not letting it hit the cage, not letting it get that random spin, that random kick. But unfortunately not enough. So impressed with Paul there when everything was feeling very chaotic. And both him and Edu all over the court. Paul played that real high lob so they could regain their position, regain their composure. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough for that point in that game. But such a smart play and such a good thing for us amateurs to learn. When we're all over the place and we need time to reset, that high lob. And of course, if we're good enough to play it as good as Paul is, just inside that glass, even better. The crowd here have seen 2 epic matches of paddle today. Really, really high level from the women. And this men's match, giving them exactly what they were looking for also. Really well matched.
Edu striding back onto the court with a lot of purpose. Full of determination that this will not be the final game of the match. The time just ticking up to 11:45 p.m. here in Bali. The match running about an hour and 50 minutes so far. This could be the last game if Marc and Sergi were to break, but that's not a great start for them. The lob sailing long.
Edu putting a fast bodyline serve at Marc, and Marc trying to get the lob. That bodyline serve so effective.
From Marc Bernils this time.
Sergi,
it's like a shark in the water with a sniff of blood.
It really is, and that point was really set up by that lob from Sergi over Edu's non-playing shoulder into that corner, pushing him back, for allowing them to take the net.
And a stretch from Marc, and it's long as well. 2 returns of serves in a row. Go long into the back glass. Marc will be furious with himself for doing that. Whether or not it was a good serve down the tee.
Edu plays his serve with such a short backswing that he doesn't give you much indication of where the ball is going to end up until it's there.
One's wide.
Fantastic technique from the man from Catalonia.
Oh, that was almost an outrageous save from Marc Bernils. But just not enough purchase on it. Into the net in 40-15.
Having only 1 serve.
Gets this one back. Big stretches, big long legs from Marc. A little pirouette, and he ducks out the way.
That really gave me Billy Elliot vibes. That was incredible.
I told you, the ballet career.
Absolutely.
Pristine footwork.
I don't know about the ballet, but I'd love that touch.
I'll tell Marc later you'd love his touch.
Absolutely.
That's very nice. He'll be warm to hear that. So. 30. Remember, Paul and Eddie didn't win this. It's match point. And they do win it though, and it's 5-all, and Paul roars with delight again towards his partner Edu. I don't know if I've ever seen Paul this animated before. Maybe actually Dubai last year, the Masters finals at the APBT, when they beat Marc and Sergi in the final.
It really feels to me like that Edu and Paul have decided to hit to Marc with as much as they can. And they got some success with it. I'm sure they're going to continue. But don't give him the wrong ball, because the point will be over.
Well, that's a great shot from Sergi.
And Sergi showing why the boys have been avoiding him.
Just extended his arm that little bit further back, and it was like a haymaker punch from a heavyweight boxer.
Yeah, you can tell why some people call it the flip-flop shot.
Goes long from Edu. 30 love. Sergi there just playing the patience game, and that was enough to make Edu force something. Served it a bit high, but we'll pass. Lob. Is
Might
it
be a bit long.
I think it's long. It is long. 30-15 in the hand of apology from Sergi. A real unforced error there. Just skips over the net. Softer this time. Back to Edu. Really focus on Edu from Sergi on the diagonal. And Edu does eventually make the error under pressure. Persistence pays off for Sergi Nogueras. 40-15.
Yeah, Edu had to go for that one. Sergi was putting that straight down into the corner in the cage, and was going to get more than likely going to get the point or a horrible kick. Edu defending that, and unfortunately it was just too much of a stretch.
2 game points, Marc and Sergi. If they can seal this, they guarantee themselves at least a tiebreak.
Oh, confusion.
Decent cam recovery. Edu's tempted. Oh, and Sergi gets it. Somehow he was on his way out. He realised it wasn't going, and he twisted and turned. And Marc kicks the ball to him, saying, "How did you do that?"
When you play that shot, that's what you're aiming for. You want the gods to shine down on you. You want the bounce to be below the net, so that your opponent, as Paul didn't, has absolutely no chance to return it.
Indeed, what a way to finish that game. 6-5 they lead. It will be Paul and Edu serving to force a tiebreak and stay in the match when we return after a quick break. Back, 15 love, Paul and Edu needing to win this game to stay in the match. Force a title deciding tiebreak.
Will they continue what they did in the last games and hit a lot at Marc Bemild? No.
The business there, Edu just hitting it a little bit more gently. Sergi was positioned quite far forward on the court and the ball never reached him.
And they did exactly not that. It looks like they've fridged Sergi for a while and now they're going to hit to him, hoping that he's cold.
Good spin from Marc, right in the corner. Turn on a sixpence.
Yeah, Edu wants to play Sergi cross court. Beautiful from Paul.
That's a great backhand. Paul does well. Big smash. Paul can get there. He doesn't touch the net. 40 love and 3 game points for Paul and Edu. I, for one, thought that Marc would dismiss that out of the court. But Paul showed the importance of never giving up. Not in it, can't win it.
Absolutely. The key there, as you saw from Paul, the focus was barely hitting the ball. The focus was making sure that his feet or his body didn't touch the net while he did so.
Oh, it was going to go back over. And Marc got in the way. So we have ourselves a tiebreak to decide the match.
The crowd absolutely pumped for this tiebreak.
First to 7, just as normal. Every point, almost a golden. What recovery. Just lands in from Edu, he's quickly to the net. And that's long from Sergi on the stretch. 1 love for Paul and Edu, and a little mini break sets them on their way. Can the Bali boys win on home turf?
Yeah, very, very often the strategy with a tiebreak is to play a tiny bit more conservative, and with the extra pressure, make your opponents beat you.
It's just landing in. Takes it high. Creeps forward to try and steal the net. Sergi stuck at the back. Covers now. Oh, and there's a great shot from Paul down the middle. 2 love they lead in the tiebreak. Momentum with them at the early stage.
How will Marc and Sergi answer this? They'd love to get this little mini break back here, but they've been having real trouble returning Edu's serves all day.
Confused on the score. Lightning to the net there. Targeted him. First time goes to Sergi. Deep in the court the second. Just lands in on the lob. Marks across the cover. And they caught him wrong-footed. Marc, he ends up on the floor trying to get that one back. And Paul Alsina, for me, the start of the tiebreak so far. Great shots, great shot selection, really crafty play. Disguising his shots wonderfully well. And a commanding 3 love lead. Still just 1 mini break.
Yeah, you can see Sergi, the rock, the emotional rock of this team, say to Marc, no pasa nada. It's okay, let's go.
Huge pressure on Marc and Sergi now to win both these points, love 3. It's a beautiful change. Paul gets there. It's a lovely lift.
Marc staying
Oh,
up.
and there again, the corner. beat Sergi. A roar again from Edu Altamirez. They lead 4-love.
Marc staying up there, really staying up and not coming back, which can be a real advantage, but really puts the pressure on Sergi as he's the man at the back.
Just stays in, Edu's there. What a recovery, what a get. They're herring after it. Paul gets there. Continues. And then into the fence. 5-love, and what an effort. Paul's just running around doing some parkour on the court or something like that. He's so ecstatic.
Marc and Sergi really feeling like this tiebreak is not indicative of how the match has gone. And I have to agree with them there. But this is Padel.
5-love, and they really have one hand on the trophy.
They'll be feeling the extra support
2 points
that
away.
the Bali boys have got.
Oh, we're going to have a moment here. Sergi calls it out. Edu and Paul are not accepting. And this one may not be resolved quickly.
Without a referee here. Unfortunately, it's down to the players to make a decision.
Marc has decided it was in. It's not worth fighting about. Hopefully that doesn't mean he's already decided the match is over.
Sergi doesn't agree, but he goes with his partner, as all good partners should.
6-love. Match points. And that's the title. A little bit of a shame for it to end that way. Marc showing his frustration at the previous point. But it's a win in Bali in the BPA Knox Masters for Paul Alsina and Edu Altamirez. And now they get to celebrate with the crowd. They pump their fists all around the arena.
Edu sends the ball into the club.
And a great win. A great
yeah,
win.
what swings back and forth. It could have been anyone's match. It's a cliche to say, but today there's absolutely no doubt that could have been. I think the crowd were a factor here for Edu and Paul, taking nothing away from them. They had a lot of the support from a lot of the locals, and they gave an incredible display of paddle. And some shots that this crowd, it must be said, don't get to see very often.
Indeed, indeed, a great finale to a great tournament, 2 fantastic finals. Thank you so much, Matt, for joining me.
David, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for having us.
Thank you to all of you for tuning in and watching the coverage from Bali Padel Academy. This Knox Masters tournament was a fantastic weekend and a great conclusion. Thank you, and we'll see you again.